All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Practice Power Academy webcast for the 14th of September. Hope everybody's doing well. Today, I'm not going to say you're in for a treat. We're going to talk referrals and introductions, which is one of my favorite topics. And the reason why I chose it, actually I chose this topic very early this morning because I literally, my last call yesterday at 6:30 p.m. with one of my partners, one of my platinum partners, I had to do a little bit of a beat down with them because they were overcomplicating the referral and introduction process, and I needed to kind of get their mind right and set things straight. So what we're going to spend, that'll be the only topic for our time today, and then if you got any questions, please feel free to enter them into the question box since we're using GoToWebinar, and I'll be happy to do the best I can in answering as many of them as I can. Okay, so a couple of announcements as we always do, kind of housekeeping for Practice Power Academy, if you will, real quick. Last week I announced the dates of our live business planning 2017 business planning webcast. That'll be December 19th, 20th, and 21st. We will start the registration process for that probably November, first week of November, maybe the last week of October. Nobody has to make any travel plans or anything like that, so it would be pretty easy to do, and just be aware of that. And I'll give you the exact time windows we're going to do stuff, so you'll be able to carve that all into your calendars and be ready to go. As I mentioned last week, and I actually got some emails on it, so I'm really excited by this. We're going to be launching 2 different study groups, masterminds, if you will, through the Academy. One of them will be a live event hosted by me. We'll meet 3 times in Orlando, Florida for a strategic day, and that'll be, I'll lead that group, and then there'll be a second group that will meet monthly via GoToMeeting, if you will. Each group is limited to no more than 12, so a very exclusive opportunity. We'll probably release more information on that come October. And again, first come, first serve, and just kind of wait for the email on that and so on. And then lastly, we do record these webinars. We are going to make them, the replays, all of the replays available on Practice Power Academy. We're just waiting on the best method to do that, and I think we'll have that sorted out in the next week or so. And you'll be able to find them when you go into the dashboard on the Academy. You'll see live events, and in that live events, you'll see the replays along with the registration for this also. Okay, so enough of that, right? Let's get into our topic for the week, right? Which is one of my biggest pet peeves as a coach that I've had for nearly 25 years, and it's referrals and introductions. So let me explain why this is so near and dear to my heart. I can go in front of any group, and we don't have time to take a poll here for time. But let me ask you all a question. What is the best way for you, an advisor, to generate a new client, a new household, a new opportunity? There's only 1 or 2 answers that you'll probably give me. Number 1, or 1A, would be a referral from a very happy client to a qualified person. Some of you may sit there and say 1B, well, a referral from a CPA or center of influence or other professional, right? 1A, 1B, most of the time is going to be, so I put 100 of you in a room, and I get you all to say, okay, who here agrees with the statement? I'm going to have 98 to 99 of you raise your hand and say your referrals are the best way to do it, right? There's always a couple of nut jobs who like cold calling, who like to get, beat up emotionally with getting rejected, but 98% of us, we like the referral piece, right? So then here's my question to everybody in the room today. If you believe that to be true and that's accurate, how much time, money, energy, effort, focus, intention do you put to mastering that process, to mastering that psychology, that behavioral side on introductions and referrals? See, that's the disconnect. The easiest thing for an advisor to do is stroke a check for the latest and the greatest marketing idea. And know what all the rage is today? Social media. Hey, if you just, do Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and do all that stuff and business will flood in, because that's what the social media people tell you. And I'm here to say, I'm not saying social media is not important. It's a nice communication medium. It's a nice way to get out there and reach our marketplace. But at the end of the day, it does not, and it may never, in my opinion, may never replace the human interaction, the one-on-one conversation. And I know for a lot of people who that really want to hide behind all that, it sounds really cool, right? I'm going to do this social media campaign, and I'm going to get all online, and I'm going to get business that way. And the only people most of the people that buy that way are the millennials, right, if you will. And no disrespect, they don't have any money. So is that really where we want to play, from that perspective? That's the disconnect. So if 98% of you believe that referrals and introduction are the best way to drive revenue from our client base or new opportunities, then why aren't you putting all or a vast majority of your time, money, energy, and effort into it, right? I'll tell you why. Because it's not about money. It's not about that, and this is, I guess, number two here, the I call common advisor BS. That BS stands for belief systems. That could also stand for bull something else, right? So why don't advise, if intellectually, right, intellectually we all agree, then why don't you do it, right? I'll tell you why. Because there's a couple things that get in the way. All right. Number one is what I'll call the advisor's sense of worth. So in other words, do you believe that you deserve, you're worthy, you're deserving of referrals from your client base? Or do you wake up in the morning feeling lucky? I'm lucky to have clients. I'm a fraud. Man, if they really knew how I really were, I don't know if I really deserve them. I mean, when you look in the mirror in the morning, do you like the person you see? Because I'm telling you right now, if you don't like the person you see in the mirror in the morning, you're going to struggle with introductions because psychologically, subconsciously, you don't know if you deserve them or not. Okay? And I'll say this right now. There is not a letter, there is not a process, there is not something that can overcome that. There's no referral system you can go by to fix that if your self-image is not where it needs to be. Okay? So that's common. So that's BS number one, right? If you don't believe you deserve it, guess what? You're right. Can't help you with that. Number two, next one. Well, my clients know I'm open for business, so if they know somebody, they're automatically, of course they know I'm here. So if they know somebody, they'll send them to me. If you believe that your clients wake up every morning sitting there going, man, I wonder how I can help Joe grow his business today, right? You're crazy. They don't think about that. They're on to their own, they got stuff going on with the kids, the family, the world, right? Their world, right? They're not waking up in the morning trying to figure out how to help you. It's just, we like to believe that. It's not accurate. We got to remind them, right? I love this one. 3, my clients tell me they don't know anybody. So obviously you work with a bunch of people that live in caves or under rocks, right? They don't interact with human beings. Totally not true. But you'll buy that from that perspective, right? What else? Well, Joe, I don't want to ask for introductions right away because I want to show them, I want to demonstrate to them what I can do, my service, and I want to really let them see that. And my brain goes, do you think they hired you under the premise that you're going to fail them? Like, why would they hire you in the first place? One of the best times to ask for an introduction is when they first hire you. They're most congruent. They're excited, a little scared but excited, and it's new, so they're kind of cool by that. So if you're sitting there saying, well, let me show them what I do, then I'll ask, all this really is, all the stuff I just laid out is basically, here's what it is. These are all conscious and subconscious strategies that stops you from opening your mouth and saying a few words because of the following reasons. Number one, you're afraid that you may fail and they may not know anyone. So in other words, you fail, or they reject you, right? or you don't deserve things. That's why you don't do it. So intellectually you say, yeah, I want to go ahead and do this and it makes sense, but here's why I don't do this. And for those of you who've been around me for a while, and even not for a while, quite frankly, you know, one of the things that I've always talked about in terms of a daily game plan and elements like that is the concept of every day, my perfect world for everybody here, between 3 and 5 times a day, you bring up introductions in a touch-base call, in a review, wherever, right? 3 to 5x a day, times 5 times 42, right? And good things happen from that perspective. So that's what a lot of advisors do. The other BS, if you will, is, well, I really need a letter. I have searched high and low for 25 years. If the proverbial urban legend, right, referral letter existed that would actually work, trust me, I'd have it. I would sell it to all of you for a very high number and retire. It does not exist. So there's no magical letter there. Last thing, and then I'll move on to the 3 things, is you don't also need to go to a referral coaching program or spend a weekend or do this. It's not that complicated. The consultants that are out there, and I say this with as much respect as I possibly can, the consultants that are out there who want to sell you a multi-thousand or multi-hundred-dollar package on here's how you generate referrals and here are the tools and here are all that jazz, remember, they are appealing to your sense of, let me cut a check and cure and fix my problems. Very few things in this, what's holding you back, and again, I don't know a lot of you personally, some of you I do. What's holding you back from achieving greatness in your business is not the ability to stroke another check. It's the ability to change your psychology, your BS, your mindset. That's the difference, okay? So, let's move on. Next thing, the 3 things that must happen to generate, and look, these are just common, these are the rules of the road, okay? Every one of you need 3 things to be in place. This is the formula, so listen to the formula, okay? 3 things that need to be in place to generate introductions on an absolutely regular, daily, weekly basis, okay? Number 1, you, the advisor, must have a high level of awareness, acute awareness, that every day, several times a day, you must, not should, not try, you must bring up introductions and referrals in your conversations, in your touch-base calls, in your reviews. So number 1, you wake in the morning ritual, daily game plan, what do I need to do today to be successful? Oh, I need to make sure that 3 to 5 times a day, today, before I go home, I must have some referral, and I'm going to give you the language in a little bit. I must have an introductional referral conversation 3 to 5 times a day. So step 1, advisor awareness, right? You're intellectually all aware because you raised your hand, right? The challenge is you've not taken that and emotionally wired yourself where it's here. Therefore, it doesn't happen every day. It's a nice concept that, yeah, you know, I really should do this. Well, guess what? Really shoulds don't happen in our world anymore. Either you commit to doing the thing or you don't. So number 1, your awareness. Second piece of the formula, your clients must be aware that you're open for business and you're here to help people that they know solve their problems when it comes to their finances, wealth, investments, whatever it is that you do. Okay? Notice how I said that your clients are aware that you're here to help people that they know. You're not here to, can you help me grow my business? I'm seeking a few select introductions. I've got 5 slots left before I shut my business down. I didn't say that. Or worse, the clients don't even know you're open for business. And look, for a lot of you who are very successful, let me tell you a quick story. One of my long-term clients, a very successful gentleman, been a client of mine for 13 years, give or take. And his challenge was, he was, you know, first of all, he was successful. His children are in the business. And a couple of years ago, he came to me and said, why am I not getting referrals from my clients? I said, it's very simple. Your messaging sounds like you're semi-retired. So why would they bother you with another referral? And he never thought about it because I said, look, on your voicemail, what does it say? Hey, I might be out fishing. I may be flying my plane. I may be here. I may be there. Leave a message. I'll get back to you when I get, when I'm back in the office. Does that sound like the voicemail of somebody looking to grow their business? Of course not, right? So the awareness, step 2 here. So his awareness with his client base was what? I'm good. I'm semi-retired, and he wondered why he wasn't getting referrals. So 2 years ago, we changed his messaging, not only his voicemail, but how he communicates to his client base. We got into the, hey, I'm still taking on clients. I'm still here to help people that you know. And you know what? Every one of his clients said to him, wow, we didn't think you were taking on new people. Of course, we've had these people, and we didn't know we should send them to you because, well, we didn't know you were open for business. And it hit him like it was a sucker punch to the gut. Because, again, what didn't he do? He didn't make his clients aware that he was open for business, that he's here to help and serve people that his clients knew. So step 1, advisor awareness. Step 2, client awareness. And I'm going to give you best practice on how to create that awareness in a little bit. Okay? Number 2. Number 3, third piece. Okay? Timing. Timing. Here's what has to be in place. Your client needs to have a heightened sense of awareness that you're open for business, that you're here to serve and help while they're in communication with somebody they know, hanging out at dinner, in the office, at the house, chit-chatting about life, whatever, and somebody says, yeah, I'm getting ready to retire, and I got to go find somebody to talk to, and then the dots get connected, right? But those dots will only get connected if you condition your clients that you're here to help and serve. All right? Now, conditioning. And I'm going to use terms that may not sound pleasant, but it's going to make the point here. Conditioning your client is like conditioning a dog. No disrespect meant. How do you condition a dog? Repetition, right? How do you condition a client? Repetition. How many times do you bring it up to them? So, for example, if you're doing a monthly touch-base call with a client, should you bring up, and I'll give you the language in a little bit, should you bring up introduction in that touch-base call? Yes, if the call went well. If you're doing a review for a client and the review goes well, in other words, there's no major issues or things like that, should you have an agenda item in writing on the review about introductions? Yes. Repetition, right? I can control one, right? You can control your own awareness. You can definitely have direct influence on your client awareness. The timing piece is just what it is. It's just what it is. You have no control over that, okay? All right, so those are the 3 things. Your awareness, client awareness, timing. That's the recipe, ABC, all right? Next piece. What doesn't really work? Let's have a conversation. So what we call worst practices. So first off, the referral letter doesn't work. I mean, could you draft something twice? And I'm all cool with this. So twice a year, if you wanted to put a one-pager out, say, hey, by the way, here's what we do: financial planning, asset management, insurance, investments, blah 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 blah, college planning, whatever it is, right? Say all the jobs, right? And you want to put a one-pager together. And you send that out twice a year and say, oh, and by the way, if you know somebody, please feel free to hand this page to somebody and have them call us. Not going to hurt, not going to hurt the cause, but it does not replace opening your mouth, okay? Having a little tagline on the bottom of your email, hey, your referral introductions are welcomed, or don't keep us a secret, whatever you want to put there, not going to hurt you. It does not replace conversation, okay? What you never want to do, so let me make this very clear, what you never want to do is sit down with your client, and again, we're doing video here, so I'm going to do it this way. Excuse me, Mr. and Mrs. Client, before you go, I was wondering, would you mind writing down the names of 3 to 5 people that you know that we could reach out to, blah, 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 blah. You know what I call that? I call that the law and order close, right? You do not ever want to shove a piece of paper in front of your client and say, give me names. Because once you do that, guess what? Number one, it's not going to feel very comfortable. Number two, once you do that, when can you do it again? You can't, right? Are you going to do that every review? Of course not. How much awareness are you going to create inside that client base if you do that and you're one and done? That is the worst thing you could possibly do. Okay. Now I know in the insurance industry, look, and I kind of grew up a little bit in the insurance industry, doing some coaching there years and years ago, and you know I saw all the things. There was, I think, the Cotton system, and there's all these other kind of referral systems out there, and they're really designed because again, insurance was very much a product sale, and then it's sort of like an annual review, right, on the anniversary day of the policy. So in that world, you could be a little bit more what we'll call proactive, pushy, provocative, whatever you want to call it, and kind of go for that. But then the challenge you had is that you're done, right? And you're off and to the next thing. So in our space, in the advisor space, the relationship space, that just does not work really well. And then to me, the worst practice of all is don't do anything. All right. So what does work? Quite frankly, everything other than what I just said in the last section. I mean, literally. So let me give you language. And again, this will be a replay. I'll do this slowly so that you all kind of get the gist of it and stuff like that. So somebody said, well, Joe, how do you ask for a referral or introduction, right? And I kind of laugh at that sometimes because it's like, well, there's no secret here, so let's do it softly. Make this your own, right? Because I think the key thing here is that whatever you do, you want to do it and make it yours so it sounds like it comes from you and so on. So what a lot of my clients do and what I would instruct them to do is, look, at the end of a phone call with a client, you know, hey Jerry, thanks for taking my call today. I appreciate our relationship. I'm glad you really think we're doing a great job for you. That means a lot. By the way, if you ever run across somebody who could use our help, I'd hope you keep us in mind. Okay? Pretty simple, right? Keep us in mind, right? If you run across somebody, keep us in mind, or don't keep us a secret, or don't be afraid to give our card out. However you want to say it, it's, again, what? Awareness, right? Same thing, you're sitting in a review. Hey, thanks for coming in. I'm glad you feel we're serving you well. We enjoy, we appreciate the relationship, so on and so forth. By the way, if you ever run across somebody that can use our help, love to have that opportunity. It really doesn't matter the language. What matters is you open your mouth 3 to 5 times per day. That's what matters, period. Okay? So however it is you need to do that, feel free. Now, if you want to change it and say, hey, look, hey, don't forget, don't keep us a secret, or don't keep me a secret, I'm fine with that too. It really doesn't matter. Just come up with some languaging that you can be very, very comfortable around. A couple of things that I think are best practice. So that's in touch-based calls. That's in reviews. So again, real quick, simple, things like that. Now think about this for a second. Based upon how I said that, by the way, if you run across somebody who can use our help, please keep us in mind, or don't keep it a secret, or whatever you want to say, right? If I'm your client and you say that to me, what are my possible answers to that scenario? Let's think through a little bit. I have yet, in the probably 15 years I've been teaching this strategy the way I'm teaching it here today, I am pressed to remember even one scenario where a client got pissed off and really took exception to that question or that statement. I'm in my brain thinking about it, and I just can't come up with one. So you're going to be, again, we're not demanding anything. So getting back to the question about clients. So if I'm your client and you ask me that question, what are my possible answers? Well, I'll keep it in mind, which is what you'll hear mostly, right? Hey, I'll keep it in mind, or I don't know anyone right now, or let me think about it, right? I mean, that's kind of what you're going to hear, right? 8, 9 times out of 10, right? Or you may get one of these, I remember I just sat down with so-and-so or my buddy down the hall or my neighbor was over and you know, they're thinking about retiring, you know, maybe I should hook them up, maybe I should hook you guys up. So 9 out of 10 times, hey, I don't know anybody, I'll keep it in mind, let me think about it, no harm, no foul, right? That's rejection. That is rejection. If you can't be comfortable with that, then I don't know why you're in the business, right? From that perspective. So again, very, very, very simplistic to do it that way. And the worst case scenario, you'll get somebody, and then we'll follow up and things like that. So what else works? As I said on these past webcasts, I'm a big fan of client hybrid event, client educational events, anything client-oriented, at least once a quarter, if not more, right? You always want to go ahead, and when you're going to invite clients to something, you have to do the strongest job possible at encouraging them to bring a guest. So for some people, hey, I may go talk to my buddy, and I say, hey, you know, I've got this great advisor, and I know you're not happy with your guy, and blah blah blah, and they're like, well, yeah, why don't you give me his name and number, and of course they never call, right, because it's uncomfortable, they don't know, stuff like that. But if I go to my friend and say, hey, my advisor's having this wine tasting, this open house, this Social Security event, this whatever it is, right, and I can bring a guest. I know you said you're interested. Well, here's a way to come check them out. But I haven't sit with them individually. Kind of, you know, I'll go with you, and we kind of mingle in the crowd, and you can kind of get introduced and see what you think, right? That's why you do client events. You give your clients the opportunity to tee you up with the people that they know. All right, so that's another best practice. Another one, if you're doing a newsletter, right, which you all should be doing some newsletter or blogging or whatever it is that you're allowed to do, it's another great conversation to have. Say, look, hey, I'm always looking to expand my newsletter list. Can you think of a couple of people that wouldn't mind getting my information or getting my newsletter, getting my commentary or market, or whatever it is that you send out, right? Very, very, very way of doing things softly, right? Again, none of this, if you think about the last 30 minutes, none of this is rocket science. Simple always works. So what are the rules here? Bottom line, consistency. When I do this live, and this is normally a 45-minute to an hour live training that I do, so I'm kind of chunking it down here a little bit. Here's how I start this. Here's how I start the training. I say, look, my referral program, and I even hate that word, but my referral program is not a quick fix. It is not a silver bullet. It doesn't cost you $5,000 either, by the way. Here's what I'll promise you. If you be willing to get uncomfortable for several weeks and get really uncomfortable for 1 week, and I'll explain that in a little bit, and you master this consistently, you'll never have to worry about new households again. Never have to worry. The challenge that I normally put out to people who come to business planning events in the past is if you have over 100 clients, 100 households, I believe in the next 12 to 18 months, once you master this consistently, that you could generate a minimum of 50 names. 50 names. Half will not be qualified, either economically or emotionally. It's a topic for a different time. But the other 25 are very qualified. So ask yourself this question. If I've got 25 highly qualified people who have a need and they're economically and emotionally qualified, what percentage of the time do I get them as clients? So out of the 25, how many do you get as clients? 15? That'd be terrible, right? 20, more realistic. How many new clients do you need every year to make your goals? Right? Yet we'll go spend 20, 30 grand on marketing and internet marketing and social media and cold seminars and all that. I mean, I talked to somebody the other day, a brand new client of mine, as a matter of fact. 400 households. and they're spending like $5 grand a month doing seminars. They do no client events. They hardly do reviews, and when they do reviews, it's a fluff review, quite frankly. Never talked referrals, never done optimization, and they wonder why they're working like animals and they're not making, and they make money, but they're not making as much money, they're not netting as much as they nearly could, because they're totally doing it the wrong way, right? They're not doing introductions and referrals. So just remember that so back to best practice, then we'll do some Q&A here. I know Don's got a couple questions in here. Here's the way this really works. So if I were working with you individually and we were having this conversation, here's what I would say to you. For the next week, 5 business days, I want you to ask once a day. One, pick your best client, pick the best relationship, right? Pick the one that is just, they're not going to get pissed, right? And use the verbiage I gave you. Once. The next 5 days, go to 2. Then the third week, go to 3. Then the fourth week, go to 4. And the fifth week, go to 5. And then stay between 3 and 5 all the way, every day, right? Here's the reality. The first week, it sucks. You sound stupid. You may want to vomit. It may sound like you're going to vomit. It's just not going to be pleasant. You need to get over that hump. It may take you 5 times to get over the hump. It may take you 10 times to get over the hump. I don't know. But trust me, every one of my clients who has mastered this has gotten over the hump. I don't know what it is for you, but you will. Start today, this afternoon, 1. Next week, 2, and go on. And you know what? Stop talking about it. Stop saying, I should, or I'll try, and all that garbage. Go do this. Go have a radical change in your business for yourselves and your family. If you don't do it for yourself, do it for them, right? Find a way. All right, so a couple questions, and then I'll let you all get back to work. We want to keep these things to my perfect world no more than 45 minutes, so you're all busy. So Don asked, what is the best way to get referrals? Hopefully you got something out of this piece, right? You know, in the past, clients have mentioned my name and given my phone to friends, and they normally say they have a guy, right? So a couple things. I think Don's here, so let me see if I can grab him. Don, can you hear me? Can we hear you?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, Joe.
Go. Actually, yeah, I've been screaming the whole time, so hopefully you can, right? So you have the dilemma where clients said, "Hey, I've given your name out to so and so, and they have a guy, right, or something like that, or something." So I think in that regard, first off, my basis is everybody has a guy. So I would work under the premise that they have a guy. The real question is the guy competent? Is he the right guy? Is he serving them well? So on and so forth. So I think what you got to maybe do in that regard is say, look, even if your friend has somebody, just remind them that I'm here for a second opinion. If they want to come to one of my events as your guest, or they want to come check me out, I'd love to do that, things like that. Not a problem. So I think you want to take that objection and just, it is what it is, right, and go with that. And then I think the second one you asked me here was, I started asking all my clients in a children for info and tell them I want to send them a newsletter. So how is that going for you in terms of asking for the next generation, if you will?
I get responses in almost every case. I get the information from my clients.
Good.
And I've just started to get it for friends of theirs, and my newsletter always have free educational events we're running and so forth.
Good.
In the future, based upon what you've said today, when a client signs up for a workshop, I'm going to call them and really nicely ask them to bring some of their friends to it. You know, we have snacks and beverages and so forth, and it's informative.
Yeah, and I think that's why I love these client events, because it gives you a forum, right? A tool, in essence, for your clients to get you in front of people in a very non-threatening way. So that works out really, really, really well, from that perspective. But
I got a concrete name that way and address and everything.
Yeah, yeah, and you bring up a point which I did not address because of time, but I'll take a minute or two on it now since it's kind of on my brain. You know, the proverbial, hey, I gave your name out, right? Man, if those people ever called us in our careers, we'd be retired, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things you have, and this is more on the advisor. When somebody says, "Hey, I gave your name to my buddy or so and so or something like that," you want to treat that very importantly, and you want to say, "Okay, hey, great. What's their name?" Just so I know who they are. So if they call, I know who they are. Can you give me their name? You may not be comfortable, and I'm okay if you don't want to go back and see if you can get their phone number, their contact information yet. That's fine. But what you want to do is inside of your contact manager, you want to tag your client file and say, "Hey, you know, Don referred me to so-and-so, will call me," right? And then when it comes time for the next touch base call or the next review, whatever, you can sit there and say, "Hey, Don, just give you FYI, hey, I haven't heard from your buddy Joe yet. It's been a while. Do you think it's okay if I reach out to them?" Right? And so, you know, you're either going to say, "Hey, yeah, you know what, let me talk to them, see where they're at. I'm sure they've been busy, blah, blah, blah." Or, "You know what, they're really busy. I know they want to do something, so yeah, here's their information." A lot of advisors, and I'm not talking about you directly, but a lot of advisors, they hear, "Hey, I gave your name," or "so-and-so's going to call," and we kind of take it in, but then we never do anything with that information. We don't follow it up. We don't track it. And, you know, 9 out of 10 of them, they don't call, right? It's just a lost opportunity. If you would have a process around it, it makes a huge difference going forward. Okay? Good.
I
So,
appreciate it.
yeah, good, and I appreciate you being here. All right, thanks a lot. Let's go to Paul. Paul has a statement here. "I've been asking for more referrals and introductions. I've been getting names about half the time. The client set the stage, so the prospect calls me, or I get permission for me to call or email the prospect," which is great. Email is a great tool. "About half the time, I get the name, but my client doesn't follow through on allowing me to contact the prospect. Is there a way to activate these names better with the client?" So let me see if I can, first of all, let me see if I can find Paul. There he is. And I don't know if this is going to work or not. We're going to try from that perspective. Paul, can you hear me? Can we hear you?
Yes, sir. How are you,
Oh,
Joe?
look. Cool, Paul. Nice to have you here. So what I hear you say is, you know, so half the time you get a name, half the other time client's going to have somebody call you, right?
Yes,
Um,
or they're
and,
going to get the number, and then a couple of weeks goes by, and I check back in, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, I need to do it," and then it sort of fades. And I
yeah.
don't want to be overbearing with the client, but I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's definitely a line there. You're right. You can't be like a bull in a china shop and kind of, you know, go through that without thinking. But I think you know, if they go ahead and just kind of punt the whole thing, then my question is, do we put a different offer out there? So instead of, "Hey, give me their name," or stuff like that, say, "Hey, you know, we're going to be doing this event. I know
Mhm.
you've been trying to get them in front of me. Hey, would you want to bring them? Or if you can't come, I would be more than comfortable sending them an invitation directly." You think they'd be okay with that, right? So
Yeah,
I think changing it up so that you have multiple ways, or give your client, in essence, give your client multiple tools to make that happen, makes a lot of sense. So I would say after you kind of gone down "I'm working on it, hasn't happened," maybe it's time to pivot with something else, go down a different path, right?
yeah,
And maybe and next time you do an event, see if you can get them to come, bring the person, or at minimum, "Hey, I'd love to invite them as my guest. You know, can I
yeah. I did
just kind
that.
of say,
I did that. Actually, did that yesterday.
good, good." I think that's the way to handle it. Again, you know, the reality is, right, it's not like we're going to go hold a gun to our clients and say, "Hey, you promised, right? Where is it?" So all we can do is gently remind. Yeah, it would be nice if we could sometimes, right? All we can do is gently remind them and play the game. That's all you can do, right?
Yep. Thanks, Joe.
Okay. No, thanks. Thanks for being here. All right, a couple last things real quick, and then get you all back to work. So a couple questions real quick. I want to handle them because we're getting tight on time here. Jerry asked, and it's a simple one, "I have a standing appointment 10 to 12 every Wednesday. Are there replays?" Yes, we record every one of these. Some of them are available right now. You go to PracticePower Academy, the dashboard, right-hand column, kind of about all the way towards the bottom. You'll see live events. You click on that icon. First off, there's a link to always register for these, and then there's links for the replays. Now, you have to be an elite access member for the replays. All members have access to the live one. If you want to grab the replays and things like that, you have to be an elite access member. Just FYI on that. Tim asks, I'm looking for a junior associate / planner. What are some places I can source talent? So I don't think Tim's here. Let me just see real quick because I want to answer the question. No. All right, so real quick. So this is for everybody, by the way. So if you're looking for junior partners and associates, you know, some of the best places, again, I don't know exactly the scenario, so I'm just going to go through a list here real quick. If you're looking for somebody fresh, a lot of the colleges today have planning curriculums. So CFP tracks, in essence. So I would always contact the local university, see what I had there, see if I can do that. The second place I'd source, and again, I don't know exactly what Tim's looking for, is, you know, a lot of the banks, good or bad, you know, have either in-house financial advisory scenarios or joint ventured ones. And a lot of times, you know, you'll have people in there that are credentialed. When I say credentialed, even in CFP. And, you know, all they do is really run reviews and do whatever shows up, right? I mean, it really is a job in the pure sense. And so sometimes those people look for a little bit different opportunity. Tim, I don't know if you're independent or not, but if you have your own firm and down the road could offer junior partner status, some small equity stake down the road, you can also get talent that way. That's an easy way. Quite frankly, the other way is if you know some wholesalers, don't be afraid to mention that to people. I've had some clients have some great success with just working their networks, putting it out there to their clients that they're looking, putting it out to CPAs and other professionals. Hey, we're looking. I've had people actually hire some really sharp people just by putting a little note in LinkedIn. Hey, if anybody knows anybody, I've got a spot. I'm looking for this. And again, you have to wait through all the recruiters that are going to contact you, right? But you do get some diamonds in the rough also. So just some things on that real quick, okay? It is a quarter of the hour, so I will be very cognizant of people's time. Oh, yes, thank you, Dave. Also, the local Financial Planning Association, or FPA, also is a great place. There are always junior people looking to break into the industry that way also. So that's another place you can talent hunt also. Our last webinar, just for the month of September, we do 3 a month, is going to happen a week from today, 21st. You can always go to PracticePower Academy, live events, register now if you'd like, and I'll see what topic I want to cook up. And if not, just wait for the emails to come out, and look forward to having you back here. Hey, thanks for taking the time out of your busy day, spend 45 minutes with me. Go get uncomfortable. One time before end of business today, get some language out of your mouth, please. With that, I'm out. See you all in 7 days.